GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good morning, Montreal. I'm Lauren Dupuis. Today we'll break down the city's decision to cancel the gmna modular housing project over contamination, preview the $134 million Place Day AR Theater renovation, and note traffic is clear this morning. Over to you, Ryan.
Evelyn Badu scored 3 goals, leading the Montreal Roses to a convincing Northern Super League win over the Vancouver Rise.
The Roses secured the victory with a comfortable margin, thanks to Badu's 3-goal contribution in the Northern Super League match last Saturday.
The game was part of the Northern Super League's regular season schedule, held at the Roses' home arena in Montreal, drawing a lively crowd.
All right, let's get into it. Montreal's Nuit d'Afrique Festival celebrates its 40th anniversary this weekend, with free performances downtown. Good morning, Montreal. The city announced Tuesday that the gmna modular housing development has been scrapped after soil tests revealed contamination concerns. The project, initially green-lit under former Mayor Valérie Plant's administration, was set to add several hundred affordable units to the historic borough. New Mayor Soria Martinez Ferrada ordered the cancellation on July 8, citing the need to protect public health and avoid costly remediation later. City officials said the findings stem from legacy industrial activity on the site, and that further environmental assessments will be required before any future construction can proceed. The decision halts a plan that had drawn both support for its affordability goals and criticism over potential environmental risks. Municipal engineers will now focus on cleaning the affected area and exploring alternative housing options for the neighborhood local.
A shallow sinkhole on Osborne Street in Verdun is set to be repaired later this month after a resident reported the hazard. The hole, measured at about 30 centimeters deep, prompted the resident to place an orange traffic cone and alert borough officials. Verdun borough officials, in coordination with the City of Montreal, have scheduled crews to fill and stabilize the depression in the coming days. The repair plan includes compacting fill material and restoring the pavement to ensure safe passage for vehicles and pedestrians. Public works staff from Verdun will supervise the excavation and will keep an eye on adjacent pavement for any further signs of subsidence. Motorists will be directed around the site with temporary signage. Authorities emphasize that the swift response follows the residents' prompt action and aims to prevent any further deterioration. Residents are advised to avoid the site until signage indicates that work is complete.
Yesterday, the Quebec Court of Appeal ruled that the mandatory 1-year minimum sentence for distributing child sexual abuse material is unconstitutional. The decision overturns a provision of the Federal Criminal Code that imposed a fixed term for the offense. In its judgment, the court held that the mandatory minimum infringes on constitutional rights, rendering it invalid across the province. The ruling does not eliminate penalties for the crime. Judges will now have discretion to impose sentences that reflect the severity of each case. Legal experts note that the decision may prompt a review of similar mandatory minimums elsewhere in Canada. The court's decision came after a challenge by a defendant who argued the fixed term was disproportionate. The appeal judgment was issued on July 8 and will take effect immediately.
Quebec officials will announce new regulations today designed to keep recently arrived, inexperienced drivers off heavy trucks on provincial roads. The province says a noticeable rise in unseasoned operators has sparked safety worries, prompting the government to act. Under the upcoming rules, drivers will be required to prove sufficient heavy vehicle experience before receiving a commercial license, and newcomers will face additional verification steps. The trucking sector was briefed that compliance checks will begin shortly after the measures take effect, with potential sanctions for violations. A spokesperson for the Transport Ministry stressed that the initiative aims to protect motorists and reduce accident risk. Officials noted that incidents involving heavy trucks have risen in recent months, fueling the push for tighter rules. The province hopes the policy will curb the trend and lower the risk of large vehicle accidents.
Yesterday, police seized 67 kilograms of cocaine in a coordinated operation across the city. The haul led to the arrest of 3 individuals, 2 from Quebec and 1 from New Brunswick, who are now charged with trafficking the narcotics. All three will appear before a Montreal court for a bail hearing later this week. Law enforcement officials emphasized that the operation was the result of months-long surveillance and intelligence work. Investigators say the seizure represents one of the larger street-level drug busts this year, underscoring ongoing efforts to disrupt organized supply networks. Authorities did not release further details about the suspects' identities or the precise location of the seizure, but confirmed that the case will proceed through the provincial justice system. The court is expected to set conditions for release while the prosecution prepares its case. Later, we'll hear how Montreal's weekday festival marks its 40th anniversary with a citywide celebration. And more. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back, folks. Here, what you need to know before heading out, and now Ryan Mercer with our local stories.
Montreal's Nuits d'Afrique Festival kicked off its 40th edition on July 8th, and the celebration continues through the weekend. Festival director Susan Rousseau said the lineup this year revives several fan-favorite performers, offering a mix of traditional African rhythms and contemporary world sounds. Co-producer Deborah Arbeck highlighted the event's role in bringing families and friends together for outdoor concerts, street food stalls, and cultural workshops across the city's main parks. For residents looking for a weekend outing, the festival provides free stages near downtown, easy transit options, and a chance to discover new music while supporting local vendors. Organizers expect the program to run daily, with each evening featuring a different headline act, keeping the streets alive with dance and song throughout the celebration. Now in its fourth decade, Nuits d'Afrique has become a staple of summer calendar, drawing crowds from all boroughs and showcasing talent from across the continent.
The historic theater at Place des Arts has begun a massive renovation, with $134 million earmarked to restore and modernize the building. Construction crews are already at work, reinforcing the facade, upgrading backstage technology, and improving audience comfort. The project, set to run through the summer of 2028, aims to keep the venue at the heart of the city's cultural life while meeting contemporary standards. Patrons can expect upgraded seating, enhanced acoustics, and accessible facilities once the work is completed. In the meantime, performances are being staged in nearby halls to keep the schedule moving. The investment reflects the province's commitment to preserving a key arts hub, ensuring that local families and visitors will continue to enjoy world-class shows in a refreshed setting. Nearby cafes and restaurants anticipate increased foot traffic as the renovation draws attention to the district.
CN Rail has resumed train movements through Repentigny, but only at reduced speed while qualified inspectors conduct safety checks. The service restart follows a major derailment that occurred on Sunday, July 5 north of Montreal, which forced a complete halt of CN traffic in the area. Engineers have imposed temporary speed limits and are performing thorough examinations of track integrity and rolling stock before normal operations can resume. Residents along the line can expect longer travel times as the railway works to clear debris and verify that all systems meet safety standards. Freight carriers have adjusted delivery timetables, and passenger services are operating on a temporary schedule issued earlier this week. CN officials say the ongoing inspections are essential to prevent further incidents, and they anticipate a gradual return to full speed once the checks are completed.
2 WNBA games are set for the Bell Centre on July 11th and July 12th. The Toronto Tempo, the league's first Canadian franchise, will bring the action to the city for the first time. Fans can expect back-to-back matchups, with the home crowd cheering as the Tempo faces its opponents on consecutive evenings. The events mark the WNBA's debut in Montreal, offering a chance for local supporters to see professional women's basketball live without traveling to another province. Ticket sales opened last week, and early attendance numbers suggest strong interest. The games also provide a boost to local businesses, from restaurants to transit, as visitors fill the arena. The schedule aligns with the league's broader push to expand its Canadian footprint, and the Tempo hopes the Montreal showcase will spark lasting enthusiasm for the sport.
The province has announced that Autoroute 40 will be shut for the entire weekend, spanning from the Côte de l'Is interchange to Highway 15. The closure is set for Saturday, July 11th through Sunday, July 12th, affecting the main east-west corridor that thousands of commuters rely on. Motorists are being urged to seek alternate routes as the detour plan will shift traffic onto local streets and parallel arterials. Officials warn that delays could extend well beyond normal rush hour peaks, especially where the highway normally merges with Highway 15. That segment handles heavy commuter and freight traffic each day, making the weekend shutdown a significant disruption. Freight operators are also advised to adjust schedules to avoid bottlenecks. The work team expects to finish by Monday morning, restoring the full flow of vehicles. Travelers should allow extra travel time and stay tuned for updates from transportation authorities.
Now, let's turn to the forecast and see what the day holds for our city.
A westward jet and rising pressure will push humid air inland, setting the stage for late-day showers. On this date, Montreal recorded a blistering high of 34.1 degrees Celsius in 2020, a mark set during an unprecedented heat wave that pushed the province into triple-digit readings. The cold counterpart fell to 11.6 degrees Celsius in 2022, a surprise dip that arrived with an Arctic air surge in early winter. By contrast, the climate normal for early July hovers around 27 degrees high and 22 degrees low, underscoring how today's warmth sits just below the historic peak. The live radar shows a band of moderate rain marching eastward across the St. Lawrence Valley. Precipitation is already draped over the southern suburbs and will sweep into downtown Montreal by about 2 p.m. the heaviest core, guided by the westward jet, peaks near 6 p.m. before the system tapers off and clears the city by roughly 8 p.m. with the atmosphere still relatively stable. The radar remains quiet north of the belt. Turning now to today's outlook. At 7, Montreal sits under partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 22 degrees and a dew point of 18 degrees, indicating a moist layer close to the surface. Humidity rests at 82%, while a gentle west wind blows at 9 kilometers per hour. Pressure is near average and nudging upward, a sign that drier, more stable air is on its way. Overhead, a jet stream punches through at 88 kilometers per hour from the west, steering the incoming moisture and shaping the timing of the afternoon showers. By mid-morning, temperatures will climb to 25 degrees, then dip as light rain arrives around 3 p.m., lingering through the evening with a brief lull. Near 6 p.m., the day's high will reach 32 degrees, low 20 degrees, UV index 6, and wind will gust to 26 kilometers per hour from the southwest. No weather alerts are active. With the rain expected to wane after 8 p.m., we now shift to the 5-day outlook. Thursday brings a cooler spell, high 25 degrees and low 20 degrees, with overcast skies and a 60% chance of rain as a lingering trough pushes another moisture plume across the region. Friday brightens dramatically. Clear skies dominate and temperatures rise to 28 degrees, low 18, as high pressure builds and the jet stream lifts northward. Saturday remains similarly dry and warm, high 27, low 17, offering a solid clear sky day. Sunday continues the trend with a high of 29, low 18, and abundant sunshine under a stable ridge. Monday turns slightly unsettled, high 29, low 20, and a mainly clear sky punctuated by a 35% chance of showers as a weak frontal wave nudges the edge of the ridge. No alerts are in effect throughout the period. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunrise is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, traffic is clear. The Roses dominate in hockey and will spotlight Steve's music closing after 6 decades. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
All major routes are moving freely this morning. Autoroute 15, Autoroute 5, Boulevard St. Laurent, Rue Saint-Arbrook, the Champlain Bridge, and the Ville-Marie Tunnel are clear. No accidents, no construction, no transit delays to report. That means you can stick to your usual route and expect a smooth ride to work. All metro lines and bus routes are operating on schedule, so your regular service remains reliable. Looking ahead to the afternoon, the typical rush hour buildup will likely start around 3 o'clock. Expect heavier flow on Autoroute 15 heading east and on Rue Saint-Denis heading downtown. The southwest corridor, especially Boulevard St. Laurent, may see a moderate slowdown as commuters return from the suburbs. If you're heading west on Autoroute 5, traffic should stay light until the evening peak. cyclists will find the Latching Canal path largely empty. In short, start your day with an easy commute and plan for a modest increase in congestion later this afternoon.
Startup Fest 2026 is in full swing at the Old Port of Montreal, delivering 3 days of talks, pitch competitions, and networking for anyone who wants to launch or scale a venture. It's the place to hear the next big ideas and make the connections that could change your career. Whether you're a founder, investor, or curious listener, the energy here sparks fresh possibilities. At the same time, the taste of the Caribbean lights up the clock tower quay with food stalls, live reggae beats, and hands-on cooking demos. Grab a bite of island flavor and soak up the music before you head out the door. And looking ahead, tomorrow the city kicks off Soulfest Montreal at St. James United Church in St. James Square. This outdoor festival celebrates soul, Motown, R&B, and funk, giving you a perfect soundtrack for a summer evening and a chance to dance with friends. And now here's Tyler with sports.
Local soccer soaring and a Hab moves west, here is what is moving. The Montreal Roses put on a show last Saturday in the Northern Super League. Evelyn Badu scored a hat trick as the Roses dismantled the Vancouver Rise 5-1. That is a dominant performance from Badu and a statement result for Montreal on the pitch. A significant move out of the Canadiens organization, Montreal has traded forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for future considerations. According to CBC Sports, the deal is done. Gallagher heads west, closing a chapter on a lengthy run in Montreal. Big money is flowing into Canadian women's soccer. An international firm has committed $30 million to the Northern Super League, the 6-team circuit now in its second season. Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, Ottawa, Calgary, and Halifax all benefit as the league builds serious financial footing.
Steve's Music on Rue Saint-Denis in the Plateau Mont-Royal has been a fixture for more than 60 years, offering guitars, drums, and sheet music to every level of player. Today the family-owned shop announced it will close its doors, a decision driven by the rise of online sales and the shrinking margin on instruments. The loss means local teachers, budding bands, and weekend hobbyists will have to travel farther for hands-on advice and the chance to try before they buy. It also strips the neighborhood of a cultural hub where jam sessions sparked friendships and where the sound of a new chord still echoed down the block. For Montreal, Steve's Music was more than a store, it was a place where our musical stories began. And stay tuned for a heartfelt farewell to Steve's Music, a beloved Montreal landmark after more than 60 years, coming up next.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From city hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMna for the local sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
On a crisp Saturday morning, beside the iconic towers of the Olympic Stadium, a sudden plume of orange rose from the east side of the roof. By the time the first responders arrived, a ribbon of flame licked the metal arches, sending a thin veil of smoke over the surrounding park. Neighborhood residents, joggers, and the occasional market vendor paused, their eyes drawn to the unexpected blaze. Within minutes, dozens of firefighters in bright helmets formed a coordinated line, their hoses humming like a choir. A local bakery owner, Marie-Claude, handed out fresh croissants and coffee to the crew, while a group of schoolchildren from nearby École St. Louis sang a soft song of encouragement. The fire, though fierce, was contained in under an hour, leaving only a scorched patch and a sense of relief that no one was hurt. The community's quick kindness turned a frightening moment into a reminder of how Montreal looks out for one another. As the sun climbs higher, we carry that spirit forward, knowing the city's heart beats strongest when we stand together.
On a crisp Saturday morning in the Plateau, the aromas drifting from the open-air patios of 4 beloved Montreal eateries drew curious passersby and longtime regulars alike. Chef Lies at Le Petit Jardin, whose lavender-infused beet salad has become a neighborhood ritual, smiled as the local paper announced that her restaurant, along with Café du Coin, the vegan haven Vivre Vert, and the cozy bistro La Nuit Blanche, had secured spots in the national top 10 list of Canada's best new restaurants. The news spread quickly through the cobblestone streets, sparking spontaneous applause outside the storefronts. At Café du Coin, barista Marco raised his espresso cup in a quiet toast, his eyes reflecting the pride of a community that has watched these kitchens grow from modest pop-ups to celebrated destinations. The moment felt like a collective celebration, a reminder that Montreal's culinary spirit can stand shoulder to shoulder with the country's brightest new flavors. As the sun dipped over St. Laurent, the four chefs gathered on the terrace, sharing a simple toast to the city that nurtured them and to the diners who keep their doors alive.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the local sunrise. Tonight's highlight was the weekday festival kicking off its 40th anniversary celebration. We appreciate your trust and look forward to bringing you more stories tomorrow morning. Until then, stay safe and have a wonderful day.